Hey everybody, welcome to this Vinyasa Yoga Flow practice. It's going to be about an hour. We're going to be covering pretty much a mix of everything. So we're going to start in Sukhasana or cross-legged pose. Feel free to grab your block and have a seat on it, putting your sit bones on the block and just getting yourself comfortable. It's always nice, of course, to be on the block. It elevates your hips and just helps to increase your posture. So we're going to, just also a heads up, I do have a little kitten running around. Hoping she's not going to be too much of a distraction. Her name is Winnie and she's very cute. Okay, so yeah, once again, we're in Sukhasana, cross-legged pose, opening up our collarbones, letting our shoulders drop down our back, sitting up straight. Coming into our yoga breath here, we're going to be breathing in and out of our nose. So take a few moments here to inhale, maybe count for 4, pause for 2, and then exhale through your nose for 4, pausing for 2, and then inhaling again, once again for 4. So continuing that cycle as we move through our yoga practice. I should say as we begin our yoga practice today. Bringing your mind to your mat, letting any exterior thoughts drift away. In here, in the here and now. Continuing through the yoga breath. We're just going to move through the chakras, bring some awareness to the chakras throughout our body. So on your next inhale, I just invite you to bring your awareness to your pelvic floor or your red chakra. Right down there, the bottom of your pelvis. That red chakra. Providing grounding and stability. And on your next inhale, we're going to move up to your pelvic region, your orange chakra. In your orange chakra, you'll find creativity, compassion, and as you're breathing into your chakras, be sure just, if you're imagining kind of the frontal area of your body, also imagine all the way running through, all the way back to your spine. The energy centers are not itty-bitty, that's for sure. We're going to move up to our, just above our navel here, our solar plexus area, to our yellow chakra. Inhaling into our yellow chakra, the place where we can tap into our confidence. Moving on up to our green chakra, which is located in our heart region. Place where we hold our emotions, where we find love for ourselves and others. And on your next inhale, moving up to your throat chakra, your blue chakra or cyan in color. Place that holds our communication. And from there, moving up to our third eye chakra, which is like our indigo chakra, the home of intuition. And then from there, moving up to our crown chakra or our white chakra. That's our connection to the universe and everything around us. And just a reminder to keep that collarbone broad, opening up, sitting up tall, maybe engaging our navel a little bit. And on your next exhale, just invite you to look down, bringing your chin down towards your chest. And breathing up into those muscles through the back of your neck. And on an inhale, coming forward, then looking all the way up at the ceiling, if that's okay for your neck. On an exhale, looking forward. As we inhale, we're going to look to our right. And as we exhale, we're just going to look down to our right. Feel free to take your hands and just drop them behind your thighs if you had them resting on your thighs. Just breathing in to the left-hand side of your neck. And on your next exhale, we're just going to roll our heads gently down to center, low center, and then over to the left. Looking somewhat down. And breathing now into the right-hand side of your neck. And on the next exhale, we're just going to roll our heads down to the center and then to the right, and just do another neck roll just on the lower half here. One more time. If it feels okay as you're inhaling, maybe looking up and looking like you're looking across at a rainbow, crossing the top half of the ceiling, top half of your neck, maybe going back the other way. And if it feels okay, just doing a complete neck roll from the bottom, left to right, top, right to left, whatever's working good for you today. As long as you're moving in one direction, and then we're going to stop and we're just going to go in the other direction. Stopping, looking down at the floor. Once again, chin to chest, and then inhaling, looking up, coming back to neutral. And as we're breathing, continuing our yoga breath, we're going to start rolling our shoulders now. Doing some nice big circles. Going forward, up, back, down. And then we're just going to switch directions. Switch directions again, if that's okay with you. And then we're going to stop and come to center. We're just going to get our feet going now. So I'm going to come off my block. I'm going to turn sideways so you guys can see me a little better here. And so for feet, we're going to start by tucking our toes underneath tucking our toes underneath, coming up to our knees. And then if you're okay with this, sitting back on your heels. Now it's just perfectly fine if you're uncomfortable and you're leaning a bit of weight on your hands. So whatever level you're at is perfectly fine. If you're able to come up and sit on your feet, continuing to breathe here with yoga breath. We're going to inhale our right hand up, making kind of a stop sign. And then we're going to just exhale, bringing our tips of our fingers towards our foreheads. Giving our forearms and wrists a little bit of a stretch here. And on an exhale, we're just going to do the opposite now, taking our fingers and tucking them down towards our bodies. Breathing into that nice stretch there. And exhaling our hands down. So we're going to shift our weight to our hands onto the mat. We're going to kick out our feet, give them a little kick. Then we're going to take the tops of our feet, placing them down on our mat, and we're going to sit down once again on our feet. Once again, if you are leaning on your hands to relieve some of the weight on your feet, that's perfectly fine too. If you're able to take your hands off the floor, we're going to inhale our left hand up now in a stop. As we exhale, pulling our fingers towards our forehead. And on our next exhale, flipping our fingers down, palms facing our body now. Just gently bringing our fingers towards our body. And on an exhale, dropping our hands down, maybe kicking our feet up one more time. Then we're going to come onto our hands and knees, moving into a tabletop position. So your wrists are going to be underneath your shoulders and your knees are going to be underneath your hips. Engaging that navel, coming back into our yoga breath here. And we're going to move into bird dog. So on an inhale, we're going to take our right hand, put it up straight ahead of us, take our left foot, straighten our knee, and put our left toes on the ground. Giving ourselves some balance. And if it feels okay for you, we're going to inhale our left foot up into the air. Drishti our gaze forward. Pushing into the top of our right foot, into the mat. Nice strong core here. One more breath. Exhaling, hand and knee back down. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to take our left hand up, inhaling, right foot out, toes touching the ground. And then on your next inhale, lifting your right foot up. Once again, engaging your core. Maybe drawing in your navel a little bit. Gaze forward. Exhaling your hand and your knee back down to the mat. Now we're going to move into some cat-cows. So as you inhale, you're going to raise your forehead and your tailbone to the ceiling. Coming into cow. And then as you exhale, you can put your forehead and your tailbone facing down to the mat. So opposite movement, curving your spine, bringing in your tummy into cat, inhaling into cow, pulling the tailbone go up, releasing your abdominal muscles, exhaling into cat, bringing in those abdominal muscles, curving your spine. We're going to do a couple more rounds. On our own now, following our breath. So just remember to inhale into cow and exhale into cat. One more round here. We're going to come together here in the tabletop. Inhaling, and as we exhale, we're going to tuck our toes and raise our bums to the ceiling into our first downward dog. Might want to pedal your feet here. Get your hamstrings going. You could also sway from side to side, moving your hips back and forth. And then coming into a resting position, double checking you cannot see your heels. They're hiding behind your feet there. And just spreading your fingers, pushing into that fleshy part under your thumb. Raising that tailbone up towards the ceiling. Your gaze at your navel or your upper thighs. One more breath here. And as we exhale, we're going to bend our knees. Inhaling a big step forward towards our hands, bringing both feet up to the top of our mat. Exhaling down into a forward fold. So you want to get your hands on the mat. So you're going to be bending your knees as much as required to bring your hands down towards the mat. Your tummy is resting along your thighs. And on your next inhale, you're going to come up halfway, bring your hands to your knees or above your knees onto your thighs, looking forward into Ardha Uttanasana. Inhaling your shoulders down the back, exhaling back down, forward fold, bending those knees again. And then on an inhale, bring your hands all the way up towards the ceiling, standing up into a salute. Well, give yourself a little tight back bend, and then exhaling your hands down to Tadasana. So Tadasana, just a reminder, is mountain pose. You're going to want to ground through your feet, bringing that energy up through your feet, through your calves, through your thighs, engaging your thigh muscles. Continuing to breathe, bringing it all the way up through your body, opening up your collarbone, letting those shoulders drop down towards your mat. And just imagining possibly a string, pulling your head up just a little bit higher. Remembering to engage your navel, bring your lower abdomen in just a little bit. We're going to move into a sun salutation A next. So we're going to inhale our hands up towards the ceiling into salute. Reaching up, exhaling our hands down to forward fold, giving our knees a little micro bend here. Inhaling up into Ardha Uttanasana, facing forward. Exhaling our hands down, taking our right foot, stepping back. So here we're just going to pause for a moment. Your left knee is over top of your left ankle, and your right foot is back, toes underneath. So coming into a low lunge here. And then we're going to exhale our left foot back to meet our right, coming into our first plank. So you can either be in a full plank or you can drop your knees facing forward. On your next exhale, we're going to lower down, keeping our elbows close to our body through Chaturanga Dandasana until we're facing the floor. We're on the floor. As we inhale, it's going to come up, lifting our chest and head off the ground into Baby Cobra, Hello Kitty. And then we're going to exhale back down. Inhaling up, moving ourselves through tabletop, tucking our toes, exhaling into downward dog. So once again, spreading those fingers wide. Our gaze at our navel. Oh man, this reminds me of that time. There's a like a little thing out there on Facebook about a monk who's trying to meditate. He's got a bunch of kittens like playing around with his robe and stuff. This is really reminding me of that now. Pushing that tailbone up towards the ceiling. And as we exhale, we're going to bend our knees. We're going to inhale, big step forward. Making sure not to step on our cats here. Just going to move you over there. Into forward fold here, exhaling, bending your knees. Inhaling up halfway. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhaling back down. Forward fold. Inhaling up. All the way, bring your hands face the ceiling into a nice salute, giving ourselves a little back bend. And exhaling your hands down. Back to Tadasana. We're going to find our standing here. And we're going to move into split salutation B. So we're going to inhale our hands up to face the ceiling. And as we exhale, we're going to bring our hands down into prayer, bending our knees, coming into chair pose. So you want to be sure you can see your toes peeking over your knees there. Engaging your core, lengthening your spine. Letting those shoulders drop down your back. And on your next exhale, you're going to take your hands and place them on the ground, coming into forward fold. Keep those knees bent, tummy resting on your thighs. Inhaling up halfway. Looking forward into Uttanasana. Exhaling your hands back down. This time we're going to step back with the opposite foot. Mine is my left. Same thing, we're going into a low lunge here. Your right knee is over top of your right ankle. Looking forward. And as we exhale, we're going to take our right foot, bring it back down to the bottom of our mat, coming into plank. Feel free to drop your knees. Exhaling, lowering all the way down through Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhaling up to Baby Cobra. Exhaling back down. Inhaling up through tabletop, tucking your toes. Exhaling, tailbone to the ceiling into downward dog. Gaze at your top of your thighs. Turning those inner elbows out towards the top of the mat. Letting those shoulders move down, your back towards your waist. And on exhale, we'll bend our knees. Inhaling, big step forward to the top of the mat, bringing both feet to the top of the mat. Exhaling down, forward fold. Inhaling up halfway. Exhaling our hands back down to the mat. This time we're going to take our right foot and step it back behind us. Making sure our left knee is over top of our left ankle. We're going to inhale, coming up, hands to hips. We're going to double check that our right foot is open and open up, about 45 degrees or so, and our hips are facing the top right-hand corner of our mat. So we're coming up into Warrior One. If this feels okay, you can inhale your hands up to face the ceiling. And if you're comfortable, you can gaze up towards the ceiling as well. Your hands can be a prayer, opening up towards the sky. Nice balance of weight between your front and your back foot. And on exhale, we're going to drop our hands now to either side of our left foot. We're going to inhale our right foot up to meet our left, top of the mat. Exhaling down to forward fold. Inhaling up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhaling our hands back down. This time stepping back with our left foot, turning our back foot, opening up about 45 degrees. Right ankle stacked on top of the right. Right knee is stacked on top of the right ankle. Inhaling our hands up to our hips. This time our pelvis is facing top left-hand corner of our mat. And if you're comfortable with this, you can inhale your hands up to the ceiling. Remembering to drop your shoulders down towards your waist. Engaging your navel. Eyes to the ceiling. If that feels okay. One more breath here. Exhaling our hands to either side of our foot. Stepping back our right foot to meet our left this time. Coming into plank, holding for a breath. And as we exhale, we're going to bend our elbows, hugging them into our body all the way down. Inhaling up to baby cobra. Exhaling back down to the mat. Inhaling up. Coming into a quick tabletop. And as we exhale, we're going to flip our toes. Coming into downward dog. So now that you're a little warmed up, you might want to try dropping your heels down a little bit more towards the mat. Raising that tailbone up towards the sky. Pushing into your fleshy part underneath your thumbs. Keeping those fingers spread open wide. Maybe looking up a little higher, up towards your navel. And on exhale, we're going to bend our knees. Inhaling, big step forward. Exhaling down to forward fold. And keeping those knees a little bent. Inhaling up, halfway into Ardha Uttanasana. Exhaling our hands back down to the floor. This time bending our knees. Inhaling our hands up into prayer, coming into chair. Once again, checking to see that we can see our toes over our knees. Looking forward. Holding here for our breath, but don't hold your breath. And then as you inhale, straighten your knees, bring your hands up towards the ceiling. Into salute. And as you exhale, bring your hands down to your sides, to Tadasana. Good job, everybody. All right, so I'm just going to fix my mat here. So on an inhale, we're going to take our right foot and step it back, probably about 2 to 3 feet. Our back toes are facing the top right-hand corner of our mat. We're going to inhale, we're going to grab either elbow, and we're going to open up our collarbone towards the ceiling. And as we exhale, we're just going to hinge at the hip, at the waist here, coming down, looking at our big toe, moving into a pyramid. Maintaining our balance here. And on your next exhale, we're just going to drop our hands down towards the mat. Looking up. As we inhale and then exhaling, holding forward. Keeping that navel engaged. So if you have your block handy, you can grab it and put it underneath your right hand at whatever height you require. And we're going to move into reverse revolved triangle. So on an inhale, we're going to take our left hand and raise it towards the ceiling. So your left thumb should be somewhat aligned with your mouth. You can use your block here to leverage some space. As you can see, I just raised my block a little bit higher. I was able to reach a little bit higher with my left arm. Nice balance between your feet here. One more breath. And as we exhale, we're going to put our both hands down on the mat. We're going to inhale, coming up, and exhaling our feet together at the front of the mat. We're going to do the same thing on the other side now. We're going to inhale our left foot behind us. We're going to grab our Hands, this time grab the opposite elbows, and you're going to notice the opposite because it's not going to feel natural to you. It's going to feel a little bit weird. We're going to inhale, opening up our collarbone to the ceiling. And as we exhale, we're going to hinge once again at the waist, looking at our big toe, coming into pyramid on the other side. Maintaining that yoga breath. Nice strong core here. And on an exhale, we're going to drop our hands to either side of our foot. Inhale, we're going to look up slightly. And on an exhale, we're going to fold forward. And if you have your block handy, once again, you can stick it underneath your left hand this time. And on an inhale, we're going to take our right hand, raise it up towards the ceiling. And once again, our right thumb now can be in line with our lips, somewhat in line. And if you'd like to get a little more height, you can turn your block to give yourself a little extra height, which actually helps in the revolution of this pose, as in Revolved Triangle. Exhaling, hands back down to either side of our foot. Inhaling, coming up. And exhaling, our feet together at the front of the mat. Now we're going to move into eagle pose, and I'm just going to turn to face you guys and step over my cat, who's really into this whole yoga class, which is pretty cute. So moving into eagle pose, you have some options here. First of all, we're going to just shift our weight to our right foot and take our left foot and left knee and cross it on our right knee. And you're going to drop down, kind of at a height where you would be for chair pose. So if you find balancing pose is a little challenging, you take your left toe and just put it down on the mat. If not, you can keep it up, or you can even wrap it around the back of your calf. Once that's good, you're going to take your right arm, put it underneath your left, stack your elbows onto each other. Don't think about it too much. And as you're breathing, maybe sink down a little bit more. Finding that spot on the wall, keeping your drishti focused on something ahead of you. And if you feel okay, just moving your elbows out away from your body, give your shoulders a nice little stretch. One more breath. And as we exhale, we're just going to come out of it, shake it off a little bit. Okay, now we're going to switch our weight to our left-hand side. So once again, you can take your right knee, cross it over you at whatever way feels good for you as you bend down. You could be touching the floor with your toe, or you could have your foot up, or you can have it wrapped around the back of your calf. So you're going to take your left elbow now, put it underneath your right. Don't worry if your palms aren't touching, it's pretty normal. Woo! Finding that spot on the wall, helping you keep your balance. Focusing. Continuing to breathe. And then on an exhale, we're just going to shake it out again. Okay, and I'm going to join you guys now close to the top of your mat. We're going to come into Tadasana. So once again, grounding through our feet. Maintaining our breath here. And as we inhale, we're going to come into one-legged Tadasana, bringing our hands towards the ceiling, right foot in the air. And as we exhale, we're going to take a big step back. This time opening our back foot about 90 degrees so that our pelvis is facing the long side of the mat. We're going to inhale our arms up into a T. And as we exhale, we're going to bend our left knee. So you want to make sure your left knee is over top of your left ankle. You can take a look back at your back arm. Make sure it's parallel as we find our warrior two here. Nice strong warrior two, balancing our weight between our 2 feet. Our drishti is over top of our left fingers. Feeling some nice strength down in our pelvic area. our red and our orange chakras. And on our next exhale, we're just gonna keep our back foot where it is and straighten our front leg. Inhaling our arms up once again, if you let them drop. And as we exhale, we're gonna reach our left hand forward and then letting it fall down. If you have a block, you could grab a block, put it on the outside of your left foot, bringing your right arm up, reaching towards the ceiling with your right arm, coming into triangle. Your gaze is either straight ahead or at the ceiling. And imagining that your arms are parallel with each other. And your core is parallel with your legs. Well, not parallel, but in line with your legs. And on inhale, we're going to come back up, dropping our hands to our side as we exhale, twisting, pivoting our feet so that our feet are now parallel with the front and the back of our mat. We're going to inhale our arms up towards the ceiling. And as we exhale, we're going to fold forward at the waist, kind of bring our hands to the floor or to a block if you like. Inhaling, looking up, and exhaling, folding forward. So if your hands are touching the floor, you're going to be walking your hands back behind you. Your shoulders are going to be, or your elbows are going to be facing behind you. And your knees are in a little bit of a micro bend here. As you bend your knees, you're going to feel your muscles in your legs strengthen, engage. Continuing to breathe here. And on an inhale, we're going to come up, hands to our hips, holding for a breath, exhaling, and then inhaling, coming all the way up. As we exhale, we can let our hands go, and we're going to scooch to the front of the mat, or the back of the mat. So now we're standing here, coming into Tadasana at the back of our mat. Once again, grounding through our feet, opening up our collarbones towards the ceiling, finding strength through our core, through our legs. And on an inhale, we're going to raise our hands up, raising our left leg up this time, coming into one-legged Tadasana. And on an exhale, we're going to step our left foot back, woo, opening up that left foot, probably about 90 degrees. So now that your pelvis area is now facing the long side of your mat. Your right knee is going to be bent over top of your right ankle. We're going to inhale our arms up, exhaling, finding our warrior two on the other side now. Maybe engaging your navel area. Always take a peek and make sure you can see the inside of your foot, your front foot, which means that your leg and your knee are aligned with your ankle. Dropping those shoulders down your back. And on exhale, we'll just let our arms go for a moment here. We're going to straighten our front leg. We're going to inhale once again, our arms up. And as we exhale, we're going to reach to the back of the room this time to our right, exhaling our right hand down on the outside of our right foot, and inhaling our left hand up. Once again, if you have a block handy, you can grab it. Give yourself a little space there. It's not really about how far you fold. It's more about your alignment and how you're feeling in the pose. Bringing that space, opening up. allows for that energy to move through your body. One more breath. And on inhale, we're going to come on up, letting our hands drop. And as we exhale, we're going to pivot our feet to so that they're parallel with the front and the back of the mat. We're going to inhale our arms up towards the ceiling. As we exhale, we're going to clasp our hands behind our back. Inhaling, opening up our collarbone towards the ceiling. And as we exhale, we're going to fold forward, giving our knees that micro bend. Letting our hands move towards our head with the help of gravity. Allowing our shoulders to stretch. Continuing to breathe here. And as we inhale, we're going to come up halfway, bringing our hands to our hips. Exhaling. And then inhaling up all the way. And as we exhale, we're going to open up our feet so that now our toes are pointing to the top corners of our mat. We're going to inhale our arms, open up to star. And as we exhale, we're going to bend our knees, bring our hands together in a prayer into goddess pose. Nice strong goddess pose here. And if this feels okay for you, on your next inhale, you can cactus your arms up. Maybe bring your body down a little bit lower. Finding strength in this pose. One more breath. Inhaling, coming up. And exhaling, scooching our feet to the back of the mat. We're going to stand at the back of the mat, facing the top. We're going to inhale our arms up to salute. We're going to exhale our hands down, forward fold. Then we're going to caterpillar ourselves into a plank position. We're going to hold this for a breath. And on exhale, we're going to lower down through Chaturanga Dandasana all the way to our tummies. And this time, as we inhale, we're going to push our pubic bone into the floor, and then we're going to push ourselves up slightly through our hands, bringing our body into cobra. More of a fuller cobra here, gazing forward, letting our shoulders drop down our back. Exhaling back down. Inhaling up through tabletop. And exhaling into child's pose. You can open up your thighs here a little bit. Let your tummy nestle right in. If you want a little more of an active child's pose, pushing your fingers into the mat. Gives you a nice shoulder stretch. Or if you like, you can take your arms, place them on either side of your legs. And just relaxing your body into child's pose. Couple more breaths here. And on your next inhale, gently bringing yourself up to sitting. We're going to take our legs, put them out in front of us. We're going to come into staff pose. So our legs are straight out in front of us. Our toes are pointing towards our face or our foreheads. Our arms are down along our sides, but we're not pushing into the mat. We're engaging our core here. Finding strength. Opening up that collarbone. Once again, towards the sky. Keeping our toes activated by pointing them up towards our foreheads, which then activates our thighs. And on an exhale, we're going to take our feet and bring them in towards us. So I'm going to turn to face you guys now, just so you can see. We're going to come into bound angle pose, or some people call it butterfly. So the palms, the bottoms of your feet are touching, your feet palms. And you're just going to open up your feet like a book, kind of. We're going to inhale, sitting up straight. And then as we exhale, we're going to fold forward. So some people push their legs down with their elbows. You don't need to do that. And then you can take your feet and gently put them together. Gravity will do the job of pushing your knees down in a healthy way. And you can inhale looking up, and then exhale, maybe folding a little further. It's okay here if your spine curves naturally. If anybody's ever seen that Weeping Buddha statue, I had one when I was a kid. This kind of reminds me of it. One more breath here. And on an inhale, we're going to come on up and let our legs come out in front of us, knees bent. We're going to move into boat now. So we're going to inhale, sitting up straight. And as we exhale, we're just going to lean back, inhaling our knees up and our feet up. If this feels okay for you, you can let your legs go, or you can keep one or both hands on your thighs, maybe alternating. Keeping that core strong, keeping your back straight. Don't want to be curving. Your drishtis at your toes. Couple more breaths here. Exhaling our feet down to the mat. We're going to come down all the way to our mat, keeping our knees bent. So feel free to watch me for this one if you want. But when I say don't watch me anymore, you're going to want to keep your face facing the ceiling. So for those of you who haven't done this before, this is bridge. You're going to bend your knees, your back and your shoulders are on the floor. You're going to bring your heels up towards your bum. Don't worry if they're not touching, just as far as you can bring them up. And like I said before, your forehead is facing the ceiling. All right, and so basically what we're going to be doing is lifting our pelvis up off the ground. So get ready, everybody, get into position, and don't look at me anymore. Listen for the cues. So your knees are bent, your back and your shoulders are on the floor, your bum is touching the floor, your feet are moving up towards your bum. Don't worry if they're not all the way up, and your knees are slightly apart. Your palms are facing the floor. And once again, your face is facing the ceiling. As you inhale, you're going to raise your pelvis up towards the ceiling. Coming into bridge. If this feels okay, you can clasp your hands behind your back, which will just increase the back bend a little bit, bringing your pelvis a little bit higher towards the sky. So find the lift through your thighs. Trying not to engage your glutes too much. Instead, lifting through your thighs and your pelvic area. Continuing to breathe here. One more breath. And as we exhale, we're going to slowly lower down vertebrae by vertebrae. And then we're going to inhale our knees into our chest, giving ourselves a little hug. Allowing your shoulders to drop towards the mat as you're hugging your knees into your chest. One more breath here. Now we're going to move into happy baby. So we're just going to take our hands, keeping our knees bent. We're going to move our hands down between our legs and the inside. And we're going to either grab the outside of our foot, our ankles, or our toes. And on an inhale, we're going to raise our soles up towards the ceiling, coming into happy baby. So you might find you just naturally rock here. That's super cool. You might even, risk a smile. And as you're feeling happy and you're happy baby, if that's how you're feeling, just one thing to work on is just letting your shoulders lower down towards the mat, which would mean bringing your knees just a little bit closer to your body. And on your next exhale, we're just going to let go of our feet, bringing our feet now down onto the mat, keeping our knees bent. We're going to inhale our hands up, either into a T or into a cactus position. And on our next exhale, we're just going to let our knees drop towards the right-hand side, and our forehead's going to turn to the left, coming into a nice reclined twist. If this feels a little uncomfortable for you and your knees are up a little bit, you can grab a block and place it gently underneath your knees. You're still getting a super awesome twist. And on an inhale, we're going to bring our knees to center, forehead comes to center. And on an exhale, we're going to let our knees now drop to our left, turning our forehead to our right. Once again, placing that block underneath your knees if you need some support there. And just let gravity do the work here. Breathing into whatever part of your body might need some attention. And on your next inhale, bringing your knees up, feet on the ground, forehead facing the ceiling. And as you exhale, possibly hugging your knees one more time in towards your chest. And when you're ready, letting your legs fall towards the ground, releasing your feet to either side, if that feels okay. We're going to move into Shavasana. Some people like to take Shavasana with their feet up and their knees bent. You could try that if you like. So letting your feet fall to either side, letting your palms relax, facing up towards the ceiling. We're just going to let our breath go here, but before we do, I'm going to do a sigh, and I totally invite you to join me. So we're going to breathe in through our noses and then sigh out our mouths. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Breathing in through your nose and sighing out your mouth. Let's do that one more time. And with that, we're going to let go of our breath. And let our tongues fall away from the back of our teeth. You might be noticing how the floor feels under your heels, how your body feels in each part that's touching the floor, backs of your legs, your glutes, back, your shoulders. Noticing how the backs of your hands feel touching the floor. Your elbows, maybe the backs of your arms. Noticing where your head's touching the floor. And feeling that support under you. Letting your forehead relax, your cheeks, your jaw, letting your tummy relax. Maybe noticing that space that exists between your eyeballs and your eyelids. Bringing your awareness to your awareness. Slowly start bringing your awareness back into your breath. Just noticing the rise and fall of your breath, rise and fall of your tummy as you breathe. Maybe start wiggling your toes and your fingers. And gently awakening your body, giving it a stretch. And when you're ready, just turning on to your side, letting your head rest for a moment on your arm. And taking this moment just to name something in your head that you're grateful for today. And then when you're ready, we'll bring ourselves to sitting. Thank you so much for joining me in this practice today. It's been quite beautiful, and I look forward to seeing you again. Peace, peace, peace. Namaste.